It's the future space year of 2024, and that means it's Transformers' 40th anniversary. In fact, Hasbro's got two big anniversaries on their hands. They've got 40 for Transformers and 60 for G.I. Joe. They just don't hand those out, and it takes a whole hell of a lot to keep these toy lines going for that long. So I think with Transformers, we should take a look into the past. We should go straight to the origin point. Okay, maybe not that far back. We're not going to go to the origin of species here, but maybe we should go to, like, the focal point, the main jumping off point of the Transformers. And at least in my opinion, that isn't necessarily the toys or even the comic book. That's going to be the Sunbow cartoon.
The Autobots, on the verge of extinction, battled valiantly to survive.
The Sunbow cartoon is really where we see most of Transformers galvanize into what it is today. And we're introduced to the world of the Transformers in a 3-part miniseries, More Than Meets the Eye. And the miniseries begins by introducing us to two Autobots, the fan-favorite Wheeljack, and the little yellow guy that would go on to become the franchise's mascot. This is 2021's Origins Bumblebee, and it's from the buzzworthy Bumblebee Target exclusive subline. There's a lot of bumblebees in that sentence. Let's start in alt mode, and we get to see a very unique take on the B-Boy. This isn't the classic Love Bug or an American muscle car. Instead, we've got this sleek, speedy, and pretty cute UFO. This little space racer is based off of his Cybertronian alt mode from More Than Meets the Eye Part 1. It's an alt mode that looks like it belongs in any futuristic or spacey anime, whether that be Dirty Pair, Bubblegum Crisis, or Space Adventure Cobra. It's a simple but sleek silhouette that's really cute and honestly looks a little bit like a wedge of cheese, if you ask me. The Cybertronian alt modes that Sunbow drew up for More Than Meets the Eye Part 1 leave a little bit to be desired. While as a Transformers fan, I think they're fun and interesting, they're a little basic, with Jazz and Wheeljack turning into things that look a little bit like shoeboxes, and then the aptly named Tetrajets being flying pyramids, essentially. In contrast, I feel like Bumblebee is a very well thought out, well-rounded, no pun intended, space racer that actually feels like a vehicle rather than just some geometric shapes thrown together. Going into robot mode, the sleek and slim space scooter folds up into the familiar, cuddly, rotund Bumblebee we all know and love. The figure has some fun details that are thanks to adhering so close to the character model. See, Sunbow used the same robot mode model for Earth scenes and Cybertronian scenes, and this results in the fun little space racer turning into a robot with VW bug boots. Considering that Bumblebee is a little bit on the small side, he comes with some fun accessories to help make up for that fact. Firstly, he comes with this little blaster, and it's a basic Sunbow generic gun, and it looks pretty good in his hands. He also includes this little jetpack that's based off of the one scene in the episode Dinobot Island. You know, because Autobots can't fly. Unless they can, but that's not exactly a strict rule, so we play pretty fast and loose with it. And lastly, so you get that hashtag iconic, authentic Episode 1, Scene 1 experience, you get a whole bunch of power conductors. Bumblebee can't actually hold them, in fact most figures can't. So you just kind of have to nestle them under his arm and hope for the best. The figure has a wide range of posability and is pretty expressive in its movement. The figure doesn't have a lot of surface detail, however, but that's to keep it in line with the Sunbow character model. The head sculpt isn't exactly one-to-one with the character model, though, as it's a lot more chubby-cheeked than what we see in the Sunbow cartoon. The head sculpt reminds me a little bit of the Guido Guidi control art used for the IDW comics. It's a nice head sculpt, it's just not exactly accurate. I feel like this figure's a really good interpretation of Bumblebee because it captures a lot of what's fun about the character. G1 Bumblebee is not the last action hero superstar that we see in the 2007 Michael Bay movie or even something like Transformers Prime. Bumblebee in G1, specifically the G1 cartoon, is much more of just an adventurous, fun character with a plucky attitude and a really friendly disposition. Plus, it helps that he's voiced by Dan Gilvezan, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
And me with such a warm personality.
Something looks wrong.
That flying troublemaker was a Pteranodon, the model for Swoop. And
So it's nice to have a version of Bumblebee that's not hyperfixated on being the action star mascot of the entire franchise, and is a lot more grounded and down to earth. It's pretty ironic I say he's grounded and gets back to his roots considering this toy turns into a UFO. But sometimes that's just how the world of the Transformers works. It's more than meets the eye.